I like Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles as a couple. They're like a young black couple that I can actually like say, you know what? That's real love right there. That's like real chemistry. And that's something I don't see a lot today. There's pockets of that today, but there's not nearly as much love as you're used to seeing. And I think this started when they first got married. They've been married for a year. And I remembered, I think they had two weddings, and the main wedding was in Cabo. They had a destination wedding, but before they can go there, they had to get married legally in the United States, and they got married by the Justice of the Peace in Texas. And Simone bought a dress off of Amazon for $119. Now he's an NFL player. She's Simone Biles. She could have got her dress custom made for the first wedding, you know, but she didn't. She went on Amazon, found a nice dress, and they got married. And altogether, it probably cost less than $200. Like even here in Ohio, like on when May the 4th happened, May 4th, there were people who were Star Wars fans who got married by the Justices of the Peace. For me, that's the best way to go. You save a lot of costs, and if you need to have a big party afterward, a reception for your friends and family, that's fine. But why do you need to go in debt for a wedding that costs like $10,000 to $30,000 when you can just go to the courthouse and get married? If you really love each other, it doesn't matter where you're married. Like back in the slavery days, they jumped the broom. Like, you don't have to have this big production for people. And most marriages end in divorce anyway. So why go in debt? But I actually like them together. And I think I know why Simone's like this. But I'll speak about that later in the video. So what I want to talk about now is recently Simone Biles has had enough of the jokes that people are making about her husband, the Bears, Jonathan Owens, they are calling Mr. Simone Biles. Now, I haven't seen that happen, but evidently maybe on her Instagram or TikTok or wherever, people are calling him Mr. Simone Biles, or maybe she hears this. And it is totally disrespectful. And people say, well, I don't even know what his name is. Like, they've been together probably before, like 4 years ago. The last Olympics was 4 years ago. So they've been together for like 4 or 5 years. So even if you don't know his last name, you know that she's with some guy, right? And at first I was like, oh, she's with an NFL player. So okay, his name is Jonathan Owens. So it's an easy name to remember. But she basically told people, it's like, listen, if you keep on calling him Mr. Simone Biles, I'm going to block you. And she's standing up for a dude. But it's funny, like some people are saying, like, well, she didn't write that, he wrote that. And it's like, we live in a weird space where not a lot of women are defending men. Back in the day, women defended their dudes all the time. They would fight you over it. And they still kind of do, but dudes don't get the same support from women like they used to, especially in 2024. So when a woman like her actually defends her fella, they're thinking like, oh, no, it's him. It's not her. Like he wrote that, not her. And then there's dudes in her comments, and his comments are saying that, well, he's just insecure. I always like, that's like the thing. Like, oh, he's insecure. And it's like, no, like first thing, it might not even be him. He might take this as a joke. Okay, fine. If they call me Mrs. Simone Biles, I don't care. It might be her. She might be the one saying, no, they're not going to disrespect my dudes. I'm sure Colin Jost is the head writer for SNL with Michael Che. He does Weekend Update with Michael Che, but he's also married to Scarlett Johansson. I still don't know how that happened, but okay. But I'm sure there's been times when Scarlett and Jost has been out, and hey, nice to meet you, Mr. Johansson. Now, they might have meant it by mistake, or they're trying to be funny, but I'm sure Scarlett has corrected people from saying that. And I'm sure Jost has been a little bit irked by that when people call him Mr. Johansson. Hell, like, he gets it, but he probably doesn't like it. And I'm sure dudes who are making these comments saying, like, well, Jonathan Owens is probably secure being called Mr. Simone Biles. Believe me, if they were married and they called them by their wife's last name, they wouldn't like it either. Guys have egos and guys have prides. And being called your wife's last name, it's not a slap in the face or anything like that, but that's your name. Like, I'm the head of the household. Like, this is who I am. Like, I know she's the bigger star, but please respect me like you respect her. So let's go back to why I think my Simone is sensible. So she was born in Ohio. There was issues with her mom. So she was raised by her grandparents down in Texas. And she was raised by not just her grandma, but also her grandfather. And like a lot of times we do not discuss grandfathers. Like, just like there's a lot of single mom households, but also there's like a lot of single grandmas too. And where you don't see grandfathers. And I think having an older dude in the family someplace is so important. Like even when I'm out someplace and it might be like a family get together or something, there's a lot of women. So there's a lot of moms, a lot of daughters, a lot of granddaughters, maybe a few cousins that might be dudes and maybe a few uncles, but for the most part, there's no dads and those grandfathers. And those grandfathers are important. And I'm telling you, when Simone was probably younger, she probably talked to her grandmother about relationships, and the grandfather probably talked to her also about relationships and what she should see in a man. That's so important because if I think, and not to knock a lot of moms, they're doing the best they can, but sometimes I think some moms don't tell young ladies what type of dude they should look for, and even if they do, sometimes it doesn't click. You need that guy saying like, "Listen, when you're out there, these are the type of dudes you probably need to be with." Now again, girls or young girls will always go the wrong way. Even if you got two parents in the household, they always end up dating guys they shouldn't date. But they still, in the back of their mind, they know what their parents told them, what type, especially their father, what type of father they should actually have. Especially if he's like a good, caring, empathetic type of man. So she grew up watching this. She probably also know how to learn how to cook. So by the time she met Jonathan Owens, she kind of knew what type of dude she actually wants. And for him, I mean, he hit the jackpot. It kind of goes back to what Michael B. Jordan was saying, how Michael B. Jordan say he's lonely because I think he's just trying to find a traditional moral chick who doesn't post thirst traps and who believes in love and empathy and chemistry and all that stuff. I think he's having a hard time finding that. And he's saying I'd rather be alone than to just date some of these women. So if I'm talking to Jonathan Owens, like, man, you hit the jackpot. She is sweet, she is caring, she is kind, she is traditional. And the sad thing, there are probably women out there who want to break them up. Like it's like, plus he's an NFL player, he's a good looking dude. So I can see women trying to come at him. But I'm telling you, Jonathan, don't lose Simone, don't cheat, don't even think about cheating. Because if you're out there, let's say he cheats on her, right? Or they break up. If he's back out there, he's going to notice very quickly there are very few Simone Biles out there because what she got is like old school lessons about love and relationships. She probably got a 1960s, 1970s, 1980s lesson about relationships, where most young ladies in 2024 do not get. So, sir, hey, love your wife. But man, I want y'all to be married for at least 25 years. And the crazy thing is, today they would be seen as couples. Like back 25 years ago, Jonathan and Simone would be called couples goals, right? You don't even hear that today. They look at Russell and Sierra as couples goals. And no offense to them, like they're a good-looking couple. I see Sarah, how she looks at Russell. She loves him. But the thing about Russell is that he gives in. And when people say, like, I want a relationship like Russell and Sierra, they want a dude who gives in. And like that dude will never be fully happy. Because guys can give in. But if she leaves anyway, what was the purpose? Simone and Jonathan, to me, are what most young folks should pay attention to when it comes to couples. They love each other, they care about each other, they support each other. He just supported her at this recent gymnastics event. She goes to football games. Like I think she was like Green Bay supporting him. It's a beautiful thing. Back to the couples goals for a second. To be fair, like Will and Jada were couples goals 25 years ago. Who knew they were so screwed up? So yes, couples goals can go wrong, but man, like I think the last time in recent years I heard couples goals outside Russell Sierra was probably Cardi and Offset. And I think I'm thinking about that because I just saw the Clout video, which I haven't seen in a long time. Man, that video is beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Cardi's beautiful in that. Cardi and Offset was so passionate about each other, but they weren't going to make it. They were never going to make it, but they had a lot of passion, but they're totally different than Jonathan and Simone. Like, I hope they make it. I hope they have like a Ruby D, Ossie Davis type situation where they're married forever. Maybe not the whole swinging thing that they did, but just a happy, fulfilled, long-term marriage. But if they just make it 10 years, 25 years for 2024, that's a good thing. But congratulations, young people. Love is still in the world. It's hard to find, but it's still out there.